Once Human, The Way of Winter take. I don't know what it is, but I had did a review of this and I forgot to start recording, so I'm gonna do it again. Not that it's important that I don't even know if anybody's gonna watch this, but I thought since I had started recording some videos on the way Once Human that I would update it with a video on the Way of Winter, what I think about this, and what I think about the game in general. Before I start, I do want to show that I'm just not like somebody who's played this game for 5 hours and I'm going to give you a positive or a negative opinion after just a few hours. As you can see, 742.5 hours in this game, right? So I've played it a little bit to know a little bit about the game. This is technically season 3 for me. I played Manibus Scenario Season 1. I played the full 6 phases. Then I went to Manibus again. I was there maybe 1 or 2 weeks because I knew I was coming to the Way of Winter from when the new content dropped. But I just needed a spot to land for a while. And I wanted to get some extra Star Crom. And then I came here. And to be honest, I kind of regret it. Like, I just want to walk through this area right here. I'll show you where I'm at on the map. This is the map. There's 3 regions. Starts Ember Strand all the way to Onyx Tundra. These two on the middle on the right. These two are both unlocked at phase 1 when the scenario starts, and at phase 2 a week later the third portion opens. The difference between these two sides, the first two, it's like a cold area. It'll get cold down here. You might see some blizzards and all that. There's snow up in the mountains. And on Ember Strand, it's heat and it's hot. Because that's one of the new mechanics of this game. It's weather based. So if you see the mini map up in the top right hand corner, below it you see a negative 30 degrees Celsius. I have a torch out. I put the torch away, now it's negative 35 because a torch will help warm up the area a little bit. And if you're in the cold area and you have the frozen pike from Manibus, it'll cool down the area a little bit. But as you can see right now, I don't even need the torch. I can walk around without it and survive. Blizzard conditions, maybe I'll need some sort of buff like from food or drink. But right now I just have winter gear. I have 2 sets of tops and bottoms. One's for heat and one's for cold. The cold's tier 3 because that's where I originally made it. And the heat's tier 5. I would make tier 5 cold, but there's no point. I don't need to upgrade my armor to come back in these areas. There's like, it's kind of lame. But the actual cold mechanic is, it's more annoying than anything. It sounds good on paper, but it's really just flopping out and switching armor. But I brought you this area just to show you something. You can tell somebody had obviously put in some work and they wanted to design something here. But as you can see, there's no life here. It's devoid of life or any kind of loot or anything. There's nothing up here. You know, I can double jump, so don't get confused, but you cannot climb these ladders. So there's no, even in the coding, there's no trigger. So they didn't add any type of trigger or any actions to these ladders. So they kind of abandoned this. This whole area is just a reflection of the game. It's incomplete. It's rushed. There wasn't enough time to develop it. And yeah. And the reason they did that, there's more to this than that. There's a lot of bugs. There's still the laggy issue, but the reason I think they rushed this is because if you look at SteamDB when it came out, it's around this time right here at its lowest point, and it's been losing players left and right. And I feel that they got desperate and they needed to push out content. Yeah. And in reality, they were actually late on it. So it was supposed to come out, I think, a week earlier than it did, but it should have came out maybe 2 months after they released it, as is, because it's not finished at all. It's rushed. I don't know what the full plans were, but it wasn't really thought out in this condition. So many things are just broken. Like the economy is broken, the fun factor is broken, um, the long game is broken, the early game is there, but it's still kind of broken. Like this new mechanic, this weather, it's supposed to be a big, huge thing. Like I showed you, it's almost pointless. Now it's negative 40 degrees, and I do have this. I might need it now because it's nighttime and I guess it's getting colder. But I'm about to go to my base, and I'm going to show you the next new mechanic, which are the towers. I'm going to go to, I live in a hot region. You can see I'm right here in the green. All these other people are in my hive, the house looking icons. And I don't know what I think about the tower. It's kind of cool concept, but it kind of breaks the game. Like I originally had done it solo, but this guy that I was trading with a lot, he invited me over here. Hey, look, it's 40 degrees Celsius, so it's hot, but that's snow that you see coming down, flurries. Cool, huh? But since I'm up in the heat, let me switch my gear back to my heat armor. Like that's how dumb it is. Like that's the game. Is that my tier 5? Yeah, yeah. Okay, now I can deal with the heat, bro. Like cool. Let me get rid of that torch. But that's the main mechanic. Switch your armor. Fun. Tough. It's tough to do. Survival. But anyways, let me go up here. I can get in my base, but I just want to show you something. Like, the idea of needing a hive around a tower and protecting it sounds good in a way because we have plenty of hive members here. We built walls, we built defenses. Like, there's turrets, there's these cannons, but the thing about that, we don't use them. Like, these are random hive members. Like, I met them in this scenario. The hive that I ran with in the other two scenarios, they quit the game. They got bored. Yeah, they had enough of it and tapped out. I went to go play something else. But unlike them, I continued on my way because I didn't mind Manibus. It wasn't perfect at all, but I thought the bones were there, and I wanted to at least give the devs a chance to show me this scenario. I had grown tired with Manibus myself. Like after, I guess, playing 8 phases of it, if you combine the 2 seasons, I was kind of done. But yeah, I came here, and the MO of these developers, NetEase, or as some people refer to them as NetSleaze, is starting to come to fruition. Like I've heard in the past, as mobile game developers, what they like to do is make games and bleed the wells dry and then move on to the next project. And that's what it's kind of looking like right now. But speaking on this hive, we have this tower. I'm gonna show you what kind of breaks the game. So level 36 tower, so it's maxed out. It starts out at level 0, and then you start to upgrade it, and it gives you perks like the area. This is not an oil area, but there's a level perk in there that you can invest in and unlock, and then you can pump oil from this area now. And not only can you pump oil, but we unlocked another thing to pump polluted water. As you can see, 100 is the max. I'm not even withdrawing it because there's no point. What you do with this polluted, you take it out, you refine it down through this osmosis purifier, turns into impure acid, and then you take the impure acid into the barrels with purified water, and you can make acid. And it's kind of cool if you want extra acid or acid to sell, but when I mentioned how the economy's broken before, everybody with these towers now can do that. So everybody has acid. Um, Everybody's pumping oil. Like in Manibus, maybe people were spread out. Maybe some part of the hive was pumping acid, while other parts of the hive were pumping oil. And in Manibus, like in Prime Wars, you needed biomissiles, or you needed plasma. So it carried on certain materials being valuable throughout the whole scenario. Like, for example, the plasmas that requires Startosaurus, tungsten ingots, and like 4 barrel, I believe, per plasma. Now, in this scenario, that's not the case. You don't need plasma because you're not having these prime wars. There are like world like creatures that go around. They're called chaos weavers, but they're not around here. They spawn in other spots, and you don't even have to go fight them. They're pointless to fight. The rewards are shit, and they're like bullet sponges, so you're wasting a bunch of bullets for shitty rewards. And sometimes there's a bug to where they don't even drop a reward for you, but they might drop it for other people, so you might be left out on that. If they spawn near somebody's base, they might destroy the base, and people have lost like loot and stuff to it. I've seen it happen. But in this area, they don't spawn, and we're unsure on if you start a purification. You can start a purification on this tower. I'll go show you real quick. Um, we're unsure if you start one if they can randomly appear. But since this hive here is fearful of one spawning, even if we know it does or not, they won't do a purification. So it's kind of sucks. Like, I could go start it, but I don't want to be a dick. These are random people. Like, I think they know each other in real life, and I don't want to be that guy because I'm part of a hive. You know, it's a hive mind, and I'm just not going to make that decision because I want a little bit of content. Like, I had originally um, had my own tower. I think I got up to level 16. I'll show you where I did it on the map. I was down here. I put my base on this island, and I put the tower in the water. And I did a purification by myself, and none of the land-based mobs could get to my tower, only the mobs that flew in the air. And I had a couple people come help me out during the purification, and we handled it just fine, just a few of us. And I kind of wish I would have stayed solo, but um, I just came over here because it required a lot of this material right here. It's called chalcium or whatever. It takes a lot to upgrade that tower, so doing it solo, that's all I would have been grinding. I guess it would have given me something to do, but I didn't just want to do that all day every day. It's kind of boring. But what was sad too, when I destroyed my tower, like recycled it, I didn't get any materials back that I used to upgrade it. Just the original materials to build the initial part. So I lost a lot of materials out of it. So when you hear about other people who have to repair their towers or rebuild, saying they don't get materials back, they're being honest. They're not. Um, so while the tower concept is kind of cool, kind of ruins the economy. Um, and the way the game is designed out, like I said, you don't need mats going further in the game, so there's nobody's really selling anything. The only thing of value in this scenario are calibrations, the furniture formula, and deviations. Especially deviations that aren't in this world, but that were in Manibus. Say, like, you had some gels. Like, I have a gel on me right now. This yellow one. And this would sell for a lot of money. Or a lot of L's or whatever currency you want to use. Let me go in my house real quick. Let me show you something. Like, I use the old Fortnite trick, like, build. I don't even have a door there. but it's not in that crate. I'll go up to this crate. Like, if I just go to this one crate, I have thousands and thousands of portable mixed fuel that would have sold at Manibus. I even have the crude oil that you refine to make this, and I have them in the pumps. I don't even make it anymore because there was acid in that one. Do I have acid anywhere else? Like, one of these crates gotta have acid. I think it's that bottom one. Yeah, so I got thousands of acid. Don't sell them. Nothing sells. The only two things that sold in this game, material-wise, early phase 1 gold ore sold. I found a run. They made it harder to find gold versus compared to Manibus. But once phase 2 opened up, it became a little bit easier to find gold. I have a good run over here too, but I'd say halfway through the week of phase 2, the gold market just died because people could find it easier. Over here, I'm not going to show you. Yeah, I'll show you. Like, down around this area, like, there's gold. Like, you just have to do a certain route. Like, I'm not going to go into specifics. I can make a video. It's not even worth it. But yeah, there for a while, I made millions off of gold ore. And the only other material really worth anything was Stardust Source in the early game because everybody needs to upgrade their gear and their weapons, and it costs Stardust Source. But after the majority of people did that, the market died on Stardust Source too. People are almost giving it away in this scenario. Um, the next material that became in vogue were hides, like legendary hides, but they're easy to farm. And gold wool, people try to sell that for a lot, but nobody's buying. We know what they're doing. You can capture some goats and make them pets, and then harvest their wool and get gold wool that way if you really want it. But ultimately, the only thing that are selling are formula, um, calibrations, and like I said, deviations. Now, the calibrations that I have, like I still have 1.67 million, so I did well on gold early on because what I had spent most of my money on are all these calibrations here. Some good ones too, like the Rapid Wheat. I got a few of them, 3 of them. Rapid Crit Rate. That's what I'm running this. Normally I'm a weak build, but I'm running a Jaws. I just wanted to try a different build this scenario. It's alright. It's kind of lacking though because I prefer the bingo, but I prefer it as a weak build, and I'm going to go back to that if I were to ever play another scenario, which more than likely I won't at this point. So, the thing about calibrations though, like in previous games, for example, this boss right here, he's a Forsaken Giant. He makes another return in this scenario, so they're reusing assets like all over this map. I'd say 80% of it's just reused assets, like some of the same buildings, same stuff, same enemies and different coats. You know what I'm saying? Like I get that helps save development time, but it's like playing the same game but a worse version of it. That's not fun. Um, but here you have 3 monoliths. I believe in the other one we had 5, but we have 3 here. So you have lesser amounts of monoliths, and you have 1 new boss. It's the Servitor, which was a Primor boss in the first one. So they just shrunk it down and made it a boss here. So they're reusing it. And this one's buggy as. If you play solo, it's not really buggy, but if you play with a team, it can become buggy to where the boss will stop fighting you and you can't damage it, and then everybody has to leave the dungeon and restart. But yeah, and the thing about these 3 bosses, the only thing they drop, like, if you click on the entrance of the Zone of Haze, which is like their version of Leah Lab from Manibus, you can see the rewards here, like armor mods, weapon mods, right? This is how lazy the devs are. You can't even click on these bosses like you could in Manibus. They didn't even put that there. But from experience, if you actually go to the place and before you click on start, it'll show it. They only drop mods. But Forsaken Giant in Manibus, you could farm it like solo if you got bored, and it would drop weapons. That was one of the rewards. And depending on the RNG, you would get gold weapons, and you can get calibrations just by grinding this guy. So all the calibrations that you saw that I had to buy them all. I haven't gotten one decent gold calibration, and I've played everything you could do in here. Like, I think I got a couple like side quests that I don't even want to do. I'm so bored. But like all the main stuff, like the rifts and bases, they're all check marked. I beat the bosses. I beat this Leah Lab thing, and I'm kind of bored. But when I did that in Manibus, what I would do, I would go grind Forsaken Giant for gold calibrations, or I would go do the Nightmare Prime Wars, which were the best for the gold calibrations RNG wise, like the level 3 crates, in my opinion. So I would do that a lot. But here, you don't really have that option to go grind one boss specifically for weapons. I think Forsaken Giant, I think it was on normal level you could do for weapons. Then if you went to pro or nightmare, then it went to mods. So they took that option away from me when I get bored. So that's one less thing for me to do. And since they killed the economy, I can't play vendor if I just wanted to make a lot of money. So they killed that option. Now that all there's left for me to do here is grind these bosses for mods. And I don't need mods. I have all the mods. Even though I played as a weak build the prior 2 seasons, I still collected the unstable bomber mods for my crit build. I never got rid of them. And I used to grind bosses, and I would get those unstable mods because the RNG was so bad in Manibus. In this version, they corrected it a little bit. I'll give them credit for that. So when you fight one of these bosses at one of these monoliths, and they drop a mod crate. Now in that mod crate, you have a choice. You can pick what kind of mod class that you want. So if you want a bullseye class, you can pick on that, and it'll roll from that class. You don't get to pick the specific mod you want, but you can pick the specific class that you want. So that helps if you want mods, but if you already have mods, like what's the point of grinding these? And I want calibrations, so I can't do it. I can't grind one for calibrations, and I'll show you something. In one of my original videos from Manibus that I put there, I complain about these. These are controllers. They help you get better rewards. I still have 146 of them, and we're in what phase? We're in phase 3, getting near phase 4. And if you go in my space bag from season 2, I saved, like when I started season 2, I saved every controller I could get almost, and I have 197 there. And I won't transfer them into this scenario because I don't need them. And if you haven't played this game before, if you played previous seasons, like some of your leftover material, majority of it you can transfer to a new scenario. There are certain things you can't transfer, like in season specific items, but you're also limited. You get a limited amount of points to transfer things, so you got to be really careful what you transfer over because certain things cost a lot, so you might not be able to transfer that much at all. Yeah, so they killed the economy. I can't be a vendor. Like, I didn't want to be a vendor this scenario anyways, because I got bored doing that, just making money, but there's nothing for me to do here. And I just want to bring something up. What NetEase likes to do, like, we got compensation today. In this email, it says compensation for not being able to complete event tasks. And what that is, when they drop the new battle pass today, because of course they're going to drop a new battle pass for people to buy, their UI's messed up. It's so shit, their UI. But in here, I think it's, yeah, you can go to events, and you're trying to do these tasks, right? But it wasn't keeping track of these tasks correctly, and you weren't getting progress for it, so they give you a reward. But that's what they do. Like, I can go down here. This wasn't too long ago, like last week. They gave a compensation for server lag. Like, the lag is shit in this. The lag is worse in this scenario than it was in the previous two. And according to the devs, they were going to upgrade hardware when they dropped this scenario. I don't think they did. But what they've done, they've definitely pushed out new skins, Starforge crates, whatever they're called, and battle passes. Um, People might be like, well, it's a free to play game. What do you expect? Sure, it's free to play. The skins aren't free. And I get that these devs need money to keep having the motivation to keep making this game and to keep expanding upon it. So they do owe the free player base a competent quality, like even just a decent game. It doesn't have to be a 10 out of 10, but it's just got to be decent, because without the free player base, they're not going to have their whales who are going to spend hundreds of dollars on these items to keep the game alive. You know, if the whales don't have the free player base around them so they can flex all their $100 skins, like, you know what I'm saying, the game just dies. I finally spent money on this game after, like, say 500-600 hours. I bought these cheap skins, like they were on discount, and I just bought them to buy them. But I haven't bought a battle pass. I haven't bought any of the Star Forge crates because it's a gamble, and you could spend hundreds of dollars and not get the skins you want. So I just spent a few dollars. I believe that's a fair trade. You know, they gave me 500-600 hours of content. You can have $10. That's, or $5, whatever it was. But I think I'm done. Like, they don't know what fun is. You know what Rockstar would have done? I'm gonna tell you what Rockstar would have done. Like, this area where there's snow and mountains and all that, they would have made an enemy base at like a ski resort. This game would have had skis, and you could like ski in an area, right? Or snowboard in an area. That would have just been fun. Some sort of fun. But as of right now, this game is like so boring. There's nothing to do. There's literally nothing to do after you like go through the map and get all the green check marks. Like, what are you gonna do? You just wait around for weeks until you can leave. Like, I totally believe what people were saying about how they just would bleed wells on mobile and then move on to the next game, because I'm seeing that now. Like, it took them 4 weeks. There's this one specific refinery down here. Um, you would go there to grind, I guess, for these materials, some Stardust source that you don't need. I don't even go down here because it's a waste of time. But at this specific place, I went there like once or twice until I realized I didn't need the stuff. But in the air, they had these floating crates. They were just crates that are normally on the ground or somewhere. They were floating in the air because it's almost like AI had just placed them randomly in the air, or somebody was copying and pasting and really didn't care. And they were there for like, I think 4 weeks. And I checked it today because they did an update, maintenance update, And they didn't even fix it to where they put the crate on the ground so you can still get it. They just deleted it. That's how lazy they were about it. And it took them 4 weeks for that. But in that time, they pushed out more skins. They dropped another battle pass. Like, they don't care, bro. You know, the lag. Like, if you go fight a Chaos Weaver, the lag is horrible. It's worse than Prime War, in my opinion. Like, 700 hours. Like, the only reason I put that much in, like, I don't know if you've seen one of my previous videos where I talked about I'm like hurt and off work at the moment. So I'm around with all this free time, and I've put a lot of it into this game, and I did get some enjoyment of, like, it was more about the hive before, you know, some of the people before, but those people aren't in this game anymore because they tapped out already, and now I'm pretty much at the same point. If they put this scenario out in this state, and it got worse than Manabus when Manabus wasn't perfect, the next scenario that they're gonna rush out is gonna be worse than this, man. Like, I just wanted to put out a review. Like I can't tell you not to play this game. I'm just so disappointed. Like, the bones were there, but it's like everything they just missed out on the execution on every single thing. The bones were there, execution, piss poor. This could have been a good game. It could have continued to grow. That's what I was hoping for. I was hoping for this scenario to take the game in a direction where I felt that it could continue to grow, it would get better, and I'm seeing now that it's not. It's not going to get better. It's going to get worse. More players are leaving, and a player like me who's put in 700 hours is leaving too. So if you can't keep somebody like me who's off work and has all this free time just to play games, like, how are you going to keep a casual player who also keeps the game alive, you know? This game has piss poor RNG. You're not going to get good formulas out in the wild. You're not going to get good calibrations. It's going to take forever. Like, they keep coming up with these, like, little things. Like, let me show you in this shitty UI. They want you to go to Eternal Land. Where is... Right here. Partyverse. Not complete yet. They want you to go check into Partyverse, which is at Eternal Land. I went there for a couple of crates, but I don't even care to go back there. Like, I just wanted to get these 2 deviations with some candy. Once I got them, there's no point to go back there. They really want to push Eternal Land really hard because this area isn't reset. It's not like a scenario. It's just a chunk of land. You can build whatever you want. It's not going to get wiped. Okay, that's cool. That's not fun. Like, they just want to keep you around so they have a player base, but nobody wants to play this. We're playing for PvE, we're playing for PvP, and they're missing the mark on both. So you're going to get what they're going to get. They're going to get players leaving like me. You can see it in the Steam DB charts. It's just not me. There's tons of players walking away. This game could have been good, could have been better, but they seem to be focused on the wrong things. You make a better game, you'll keep the player base, and you'll make more money. Don't focus on the money first, focus on the game, and then you'll have your player base. If I were to recommend this game to anybody, maybe play some Manabus if there's enough players around, because at least that map, like I said before, it's not perfect. It's more developed. It was in beta phase for a longer time. It was actually tested. I don't even know if they tested this this map at all. I think they just pushed it out there. to give you something so they could keep you around and they could bleed some more wells on some more expensive contact. Like this just came out, I think today. Look how shitty that pirate gear is. Like, how much does that cost? $9.99 for the basic. That's in US dollars, so that'd be like $15-16 Australian. I do live in Australia. Yeah, for garbage, man. What's at the shop? You can go. They won't even tell you the price of this. You have to have. You have to have these Christogens. So there's currency on top of the current fake currency. There's fake currency on top of the fake currency, so you don't really know what you're spending. But I think it's like, it's not cheap to get the Christogen or whatever it's called. And when it says 300 plus 30 Christogen, it's not that, because I think I bought this $4.99 one thinking I would get 300 plus 30, but it was 330 of just this, with this currency, whatever it is, to buy these cheap skins that I had. But yeah, if you want to waste time on a game that looks like it definitely has no future, play Once Human, or just go and play something else, because these devs only seem to really care about the money. So anyways, that was a long video that people probably will never watch, but that's fine. Since I started posting videos about this channel, I thought I'd, at least if I never post another video about this game, give my thoughts about what I think about it, and finish this channel on the same game. Anyways, later.